You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 78. I'm so glad that you chose to come back again and listen to another episode of the podcast. It goes without saying that the more opportunity I have to reach other women who might be struggling or might be feeling alone or feeling like they don't have a place in the world or not welcomed in their workplace, in their church, in their families because they don't have children. That's what drives me every week to come back here and share another episode of the podcast with you. So thank you for listening. And I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to ask you if you have an opportunity to please write a review of the podcast wherever you're listening to this. Maybe if you've joined my new YouTube channel, maybe it's on YouTube. And I'm asking if you would just please write a review and share your thoughts about how this podcast has maybe offered you a different perspective about what your life can be, even though you didn't have the children you always dreamed of. Because these algorithms, I don't know how they work, but they work in such a way that the more interaction and more people that basically vouch for the material and say that it's something helpful, good, useful, the more people will reach this message. And that is my mission in my life, is to help women know that they can thrive and feel fulfilled, even if we didn't have the children that we always dreamed of. So let's just get into the nitty-gritty of this week's topic. This is something that has come up quite a bit with my students and something that I too have worked on. And it's learning how to love people around you and people that are in your life, whether they show or distribute or provide you the support and the love and the encouragement that you think that they should. And maybe it stems back. This is something that I was working on recently with a student, that she came from a family that was very much, I guess the way she phrased it, that they were very much, they kept basically like track of who was a good person to the family and who wasn't a good person to the family. So if somebody generations ago, maybe their grandmother had a run-in with someone in their community, then that family or that person was automatically off their list. And regardless of what your interaction is or was with that person, there was absolutely no way that you would be accepted by your family, or would you even entertain welcoming that person or someone who was part of their lineage into your family, because they were just basically blacklisted because of some rundown that happened years before you were even born. Or maybe another example could be if you're arguing with someone and somebody acts in a certain way, and of course, with parameters, like not being accepting of someone's abuse or physical violence or anything like that. But if somebody says something to you that you are not in alignment with or not believing is true or correct or the right thing to say to you, you might find yourself saying, well, of course I have to be pissed at them or not speaking to them or cut them out of my life. And that's just what you're supposed to do. And so on this week's episode of the podcast, I want to talk about how to love somebody and them not having any relevance into whether you love them or not. So this is something that I heard, this concept of I'm going to love you and there's nothing that you can do about it. So if my students are listening, they have heard me talk about this and how much this has even impacted my life in so many levels. So let's just think about how we automatically go to a reaction as something that we are supposed to do. Almost like you wake up and you brush your teeth. There are some people out there that choose not to brush their teeth. They clearly are not married to a dentist like I am. But there is a choice every day that we have as to whether we want to be loving and acknowledging that somebody might have a view that differs from ours. And we can love them, and loving them doesn't mean that we have to like want to hug them and put our arms around them and tell them that they are the best person. But loving someone could just be acknowledging that they are entitled to have an opinion that might differ from yours. And there is just this level of freedom that I have found, and the students that I've been working with, I mean, it's just like this mind-blowing moment where you're like, wow, I could actually not have to be mad at someone. I could actually not have to argue with someone if their opinion differs from mine. I can actually let someone do something that I don't think is the best decision for them to do in their life and sleep at night being okay, knowing that I love them and there's nothing that they can do about it. Like there's such emotional freedom in this life that we've had, that we have felt so burdened by emotions, to be able to make a conscious decision in your life and to cognitively allow yourself to not be angry at someone or not have to prove someone wrong or tell the whole world how awful someone is. There is such this liberation of your energy if you can allow people to be who they are and treat themselves and their time and their energy and their preservation of their being, and let them go on doing those things and still love them. There is so much to be said about the freedom that this allows you to love yourself and have more moments in the day that you are focusing on the things that bring you joy and the things that are nourishing you, instead of constantly being worried and upset by the things that others are not taking advantage of in their life. And I know you might be listening to this and saying, but I'm not a good person if I don't care about what they're doing, or I don't try to change their mind. And certainly I'm not telling you not to show up for people and not to be a support to somebody who is seeking it. But there are so many opportunities that we give away in our life to live in harmony with ourselves, because we're so upset by how someone isn't caring for themselves, or how someone isn't living up to their best ability, or that somebody is mad at us and we just can't sleep at night knowing that somebody doesn't think we are the best person in the world. And maybe sometimes we have to allow people to be wrong about us, or maybe we have to allow them to make decisions in their life that we might not see as the right decisions for them. But in every opportunity that we allow them to live their life and we continue to love them, whether it's the thing that we agree with or we don't, then we can allow them to go on their path. And maybe there's a major life lesson that has been chosen for them that they would never have discovered if they did not make this decision, or if they didn't have the opportunity to realize something on their own. And maybe we aren't the one that is always going to be their beacon of clarity. So as we think about how we're approaching our relationships, our friendships, even in your marriage, I mean, there's times when Jack and I will get in a quarrel, and I'll get so mad at him, and I look at him and I just am thinking in my head, I love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. There is just like such this power that I'm going to look at my partner who, you know, we're human. Of course we get in annoying bickering matches with our partners. And of course, there's times when I look at him and I'm like, I just like would love to just like poke you as hard as I can. And instead, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to preserve myself and I am just going to love you because you might have had the worst day today. You might have had someone come in complaining in the office and you didn't feel like talking about it when you came home and you just wanted to internalize it. And you might have taken it out on me, but I'm going to love you anyway. And even if you're short with me and you say my cooking sucks or that my meal was not like good or whatever, like he probably wouldn't even say that to me. If he's smart, he wouldn't say that to me. But let the person just be who they are and let them sometimes get something off of their chest and not always have to be reactionary back to them. And of course, again, I'm just going to reinforce that doesn't mean letting someone abuse you. It doesn't mean letting someone like verbally trample your name and your reputation. Of course, I want you to stand up for yourself, but think about how many times in your day there are things that go on that you are just so upset about. And you can't believe this person would say that, or you can't believe this person would ask you why you didn't adopt, or you can't believe that somebody would ask you how many kids that you have. People do these things and you can love them, even if you don't agree with them. So I'll leave you with that this week. And I also wanted to tell you that if you are getting anxious, like so many women I know are, about Mother's Day coming upon us here in just under 2 months, I want to let you know that I am so excited that the tickets are now available for the Others Day. And if you hadn't heard me talk about the Others Day, it is an event that I created for women like us who are feeling loss or sadness around Mother's Day. Maybe it's because you never had kids. Maybe it's because you lost a child. Maybe it's because you don't have a relationship with a mom in your life. And for that reason, I am hosting an event that is going to be absolutely the most beautiful 3 hours that you have spent on a May afternoon right before Mother's Day. It's going to be on the Saturday before Mother's Day, May 13th. I'm hosting here in Chicago. I have a professional caterer. The space that we're going to be in is going to be absolutely magical and beautiful. And you can come up showing up just as you are. You don't have to tell people why you're feeling loss or sadness around Mother's Day. You can just show up and know that you'll be loved and supported, and amongst other women who want to be supported on this same day. So if you're not able to travel to Chicago and this sounds like something you want to be part of, we do have an ambassador program. I have a whole booklet for you of how you can plan your own event, how to do it, the tools that I have used to plan my events in the past. I love planning events. I love hosting. So this is just like so my jam. So if you live somewhere outside of Chicago and want to get some women together or be one of my ambassadors, I would love for you to apply for my ambassador program. There is absolutely no charge to do it. We just are trying to spread the word and let women know, regardless of where they are this Mother's Day, that there is a group of women that love them and support them and feel them and will be there for them. So let me know if you're interested in that. You can also go to my website, lanamanikowski.com/othersday. Or you can reach me on DM or on email. So either way, I would love to invite you to know that you're loved and supported and held this Mother's Day. So join us May 13th for the Others Day brunch. It will be the best 3 hours you have ever chosen to spend the day before Mother's Day. So have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember, it is never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week.